Okay.
This is Rabbi Graber, and you're listening to Bethelians, our podcast about those fun people at Bethel. We're back after a hiatus following the high holidays and are hoping to hear from you and talk with you, Bethelians, about all the things that matter to you. I am here today with our membership committee leaders, Allison Zarkin and Sandi Kronick. Thank you for being here today and talking with us. This podcast is a way for people in Bethel to get to know each other. And so I would love to, I want to start actually, if each of you would share your Jewish story, sort of
Oy.
tell us, Oi, a great way to start. So, Sandi, with Oi, I'm going to turn to you. Just tell us a little bit about your Jewish story, and then we're going to move to your Bethel story.
Cool. What a big question. Cut me off if I go too long. Um, yeah, I grew up on Long Island, surrounded by Jewish people, and
Long Island or Long Island?
Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I had this great mix. My grandfather was actually born, my maternal grandfather was born in Burlington, North Carolina, which I didn't know for a couple of years after living here and desperately wishing I had roots. I have roots here. The Switzers were our name is on the wall. My ancestors are on the memorial wall here.
Amazing.
Um, and my father's side is from Western Massachusetts in the Berkshires. This colony from Kletsk, Poland slash Russia slash Belarus now moved to this mill town in Western Mass. So if you go to the Jewish cemetery in Adams, Massachusetts, every headstone is Kronick, 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 Kronick Schwartz, Kronick, Kronick, Kronick Goldstein. It's like all Kronicks. So yeah, I kind of was blessed with this mix of being in New York and surrounded by Jews and also really appreciating the rural background of Jewish life. Um, was very involved with BBYO growing up and went on the March of the Living when I was in high school. Was really just kind of touched, like my spiritual soul always connected to my Jewish nature and my environmentalism. And so I was like the kid who went to Friday night services in high school by myself and then would go out partying with my friends. And yeah, really loved. I spent a year in Israel at the Arva Institute in the South with an incredible community of environmental professionals from throughout the Middle East. Traveled a lot, spent time in Gaza, Ramallah, a lot of time in Jordan, and a lot of time in the Gulf of Aqaba, Avelat, doing scuba diving for this like coral reef protection project. So I just had this really great, fun year in Israel. Um, Coaching a soccer team, so I know how to speak Hebrew only about coral reefs and soccer. And yeah, just kind of felt really
Coral in Hebrew is almog, right?
almog,
Just
yeah.
I want people from Bethel to be able to learn a little Hebrew as
Yeah.
they.
It was like a fake police officer for the Shmud HaTeva. So we gave out tickets to tourists if they were being reckless on towards the coral. It was really amazing. And I loved kibbutz life. And yeah, I've been a member of three synagogues in the Triangle and
All right,
really
so we'll
feel
we'll
like I
come to
came
this.
here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to get to the Bethel thing in a minute. I want to just play a little bit of Jewish geography, not in terms of people, but um, so let's first of all let's do another Hebrew word. So soccer is kadoregel,
That's
right?
right.
If you want to say American football, you say football. Um, the Arava Institute, we have many people at Bethel who have done the Arava bike ride.
Oh,
Adam Goldstein and a few other people.
yeah. Just happened.
It just
Yeah.
happened. Amazing way to support a really amazing place in Israel that does a
Mhm.
lot of important work. And the other, would you just say a sentence about the March of the Living? One of the ideas that I have had for our community, I know the Greensboro community sends delegations on March of the Living. Our community has never done that, and I actually would love to take some delegations on March of the Living. Will you say, yeah,
Was at Monuts yesterday with a friend who's a member here, and she was asking about I went in September very recently with my son and some other extended family members to Poland. And so my friend, I hadn't talked to her, and she was just asking me to talk about the trip, and I just broke out in tears. It was like such a powerful trip. And then in that moment, I was like, I think I should coordinate trips to Poland.
So this is how it happens, right? We're gonna sign up Sandy. That'll be a project. Yeah, just say him.
um, was then, and I think is a little redefined now, but it was a trip for Jewish teenagers from around the world. So I was part of a sea of thousands of kids. We were all wearing our blue jackets, and the idea is that you go to Poland for the Holocaust Memorial, the Yom HaShoah event, and we walked from Auschwitz to Birkenau and kind of like relived the death march. And the idea is to, this March of the Living that we're remembering, and then you go to Israel. So you're a week in Poland and then a week in Israel. I think it was 2 whole weeks. I remember I had to fight hard because I missed the SATs in my junior year of high school, but it was worth it. And yeah, so you're in Israel for Yom HaZikaron.
Yom HaZikaron and Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel's Memorial Day and Independence
So
Day.
this incredibly hard, very meaningful experience, but you're surrounded by all these other young Jewish people from around the world. And I still have like a Hebrew Brazilian t-shirt. You trade swag with people from all over the world, and it's really powerful experience of realizing you're not alone. And also we have this really important story that we have to remember.
All right, so we're going to go to Allison in a minute. I am going to do a little commercial plug. Durham as a community is growing, and there are a lot of things that other communities have that we don't. And I know that the Greensboro Federation, for example, because it is an expensive trip. I want to say it's like seven or $8,000 to send your teen on this. They have thousands of dollars available in subsidies. And it's a very, very powerful experience, and we have to get more of our teens going and doing this. And here you have heard from Sandy, this was not a setup, that years later, just a week ago, she was crying at like what a powerful experience is to
Yeah.
remember. So let's get
more
more
ago as an
right,
adult, and
right.
it was an incredibly different experience.
Yeah.
And really, yeah, I want to go every
So
year.
let's get that going to people who are listening. Allison, tell us your Jewish story.
It's a bit shorter than Sandy's. So I actually grew up Catholic, and when my husband and I were talking about getting married, and conversion was very much something that we both wanted to do. And so we were living in New York City at the time and had a lot of Zoom calls with Rabbi Graber. Um, and then actually, when we came down here for Passover to visit his family for Passover, Rabbi Graber literally drove us around Durham, like giving us a tour, and was like, "Here's, this and that and the other thing.
Feel free
Here's
to
some
move
apartments
here.
and things." Yeah. And it worked. So we wound up here. And then I did the conversion process with Rabbi Graber. And it was really lovely and not I was a little worried, obviously. And it was a great experience. And then Rabbi Graber married us, which was also one of the loveliest days of my life. And so that's kind of my story. It's a lot shorter.
Love it.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. All right, so let's talk Bethel. Maybe I'll just go back to you.
Sure.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
besides me
it's
driving you around
yeah.
driving you around the neighborhood, talk a little bit about how do you tell your Bethel story?
Um, well, I think I was just kind of adopted into Bethel. My husband did grow up here. So there was really kind of no question. There was no synagogue shopping. It was just like, okay, this is where we are. And I think, immediately felt at home. And then, in the past year, I think both my husband and I just wanted to get more involved in the Jewish community. And so, um, being on the membership committee has been a really great way of just getting to know more people in the community, and getting to know new members as well. Um,
Let
yeah.
me ask you just to go back a little bit before
Mhm.
we get to the membership committee. I mean, I appreciate, I loved working with you on the conversion process and
Yeah.
performing your wedding and all of that. But maybe as an outsider, so to speak, or somebody sort of newly coming into the community, what did you notice about Bethel as a synagogue or as a community?
I would definitely, I think everybody always talks about the strong sense of community and how people are just there for each other. I think that was something that was very notable, and also like going through experiencing a loss in the family and seeing how much everybody was there for the family. It was just incredible as someone who didn't have, a Jewish experience growing up, just to see that level of care and commitment to taking care of each other. Was just, I thought, really special.
Um, was it because we are sort of a more traditional, we're conservative synagogue and Orthodox Minyan and sort of a more traditional community, sometimes that can be alienating or difficult. How was navigating that for you?
I don't think alienating, I would not use that word. But I think it was hard, not knowing Hebrew, not knowing the prayers. And I'm still working on that. It's a process for sure. So I would say, that aspect of it can be hard of that I don't speak Hebrew, um, or didn't grow up with the melodies and the prayers. But otherwise I feel like it doesn't really matter. I feel like everyone's still very much welcoming and friendly and just wants to know me, I guess. Yeah.
So that's amazing,
Yeah.
right? Like if I had to sum up like a goal of the membership committee or just sort of Bethel in general, I think a place where we can know each other, where, right, the fact that you just sort of said people want to know me, like that's an incredible gift. The rabbi piece of me is sort of curious, and then I'll let go of this and turn to Sandy. But um, so, like, we just went through the high holidays. That's a long service with lots of Hebrew. In what way is it like, besides just sort of like putting up with it, or sort of like, okay, it doesn't turn you away, it's not alienating. W- w- um, like, what is the meaning behind sort of being part of these services that, because by the way, even when you know the Hebrew, like we have the translations, we have the commentary, it still doesn't help like a lot.
Right.
Like, what do you take out of that?
I think for me, well, high holidays are very different with a small child.
Okay, right. Small child, got it.
We've been in the family services for the last 3 years, which have been wonderful.
Go
Absolutely
Ellie
wonderful.
Light. We love it.
Yes. Um, but I think, I probably have maybe a more surface level understanding, but I still connect with that, and, it's still meaningful. But yeah, like, I don't know, connecting as much as someone who is, much more, I don't know, grew up with
Familiar.
it. Yes, yes.
No, it's not a
Yeah,
contest. Not a
yeah. But
contest.
so it's different, but still lovely. And the family services are spectacular.
Amazing.
I would
Amazing.
say
All right, Sandy, yes.
that like for me just the unpluggedness. Like I don't do any technology. I get to walk here. So, it's really a time I talk to all of my colleagues. They know I'm fully offline. Like I kind of make a point of overemphasizing it, not just because I think it's cool for people. I know I work with is Jewish, but so I think it's good for us to know about each other's spiritual practices to the extent we want to share. But I also love making sure everyone knows they have permission. You don't need a holiday to unplug when you're taking the day off. Like it's a good thing. But I was thinking this year, it's been such a year. I was thinking like, gosh, it's so easy to tap in and like really take in all of the solemnity. Like there's just so much peace that I feel in the sanctuary for the holidays. And whether it's the melodies or whatever it might be, I can really kind of just zone in pretty quickly. And I was remembering back to when I had young kids, and so I've been chatting with some people about it, and it's so amazing. Everyone's like, actually, the family services are really amazing. Because I use babysitting, I think, a lot when my kids were at a certain age, so that I could come and pray and whatever. So many parents are like, oh no, I don't want the babysitting. I love the family services. Like it's really meaningful for me too. I'm not just there to like be my kid's handler.
Mhm.
So that was some interesting feedback I've gotten from people,
That's great.
which is really awesome. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't take that for granted at all.
Just Allison, you have kids wise, because we've mentioned kitties.
Oh, yes, I have a daughter that is turning 4 on Friday.
Crazy.
Wild.
Halloween baby.
Yep. Yeah.
She's the cutest thing ever.
Yes. And she's literally downstairs at the preschool right now.
Yeah.
And Sandi.
I have 2 kids that are my daughter's 18 and my son is 16. Yeah.
And so talk a little bit about your Bethel story.
Um, I moved here technically from Chapel Hill and liked the Kahila in Chapel Hill. I thought it was lovely, but happened to find a house a block away, and I thought, like, this place Bethel has to suck for me to not join it because I really like walking.
That's going to be our marketing campaign.
I was like, this place really needs to suck if I'm not gonna, I really liked because
All right, it sounds like we cleared that. Okay.
Not having to drive. It's like it's something I got out of Israel, actually. Life in Israel was like how you can really, you don't have to have a label, but you can really participate in anything to make the holiday more holy. And then really quickly, I was like, oh my God, this is actually my dream home, spiritual home. Like I remember then and still feel this way, blown away that there was all this room of not sucking. And I was like, wow, this is actually where I belong.
What
And it's
made you feel that way?
I think that it like juggles the nuance of everythingness for people. And I think all the people here are really beautiful people, like authentically themselves and authentically care. Like there's a high level of emotion that shows up. And, growing up in New York, I think what I observed was a little bit more superficial, maybe. That's so judgmental of me to say, but honestly, it was, different experience. And the level of like authentic warmth that is here, that also is grounded in tradition and grounded in learning. It's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like vibrant and meaningful, and it's kind of like the air I breathe. Like I only want to do things that feel meaningful, so it's easy.
Tell us about the membership committee. Why did you join? What are you leading? You're leading it. What are your goals, hopes, dreams for it?
I was wondering when you were talking also, I was like, oh yeah, how did she wind up on this committee? What drew you to the
Actually, Amy called me. It was just like Amy Kronick, who is marketing director. Yeah, she's amazing, absolutely amazing. But she called me and I didn't know her at the time. And she was just like, oh, the rabbi mentioned you would be great. And I was like, okay, like
Nice.
here we go.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm really glad that she reached out because I do think it's a good fit to, just be kind of on the social welcoming side of things that is, I think, a natural fit for me. And then it's been kind of an evolution because the committee was a little defunct. And so we just kind of picked it back up this past year. And I think it's going really well. We're doing a lot and yeah, feels like a good thing going.
Talk to me about, and obviously nothing is perfect and no system, does all these things all the time, but sort of what does an ideal experience look like because you focus on helping people to join the synagogue and sort of their experience in the first year, um, uh, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, and sort of tell me what does that look like? Like, what are some of the things that the membership committee is doing? The hope that people will experience in that period of joining the synagogue in that first year.
Yeah, I think like officially the membership committee is there to host and greet potential members and make sure that new members feel really at home. I feel like we're kind of the matchmakers for authentic connections, like that feels like a really fun Yenta kind of role. But
There's some good slogans coming out of this conversation.
mhm.
Matchmakers for authentic connection. And then what did you say? The synagogue had to really suck or something, right? Okay, yeah, right.
The membership committee doesn't suck.
Okay, all right, that's good. Right.
That too is it's turned up, it's kind of great, I think. It's hard sometimes to say yes to a community volunteer role because you don't know what you're getting into and you don't want to show up in a half fulfilling
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
But
But this
I think it's been really
matchmaker for
great.
connections,
I
and how do you do that?
Yeah, so I mean, there's some programming that's involved for like new members to come to events. We had this lovely Sukkot event at your home, which was amazing. We got great feedback about. Um, and yeah, just kind of showing up. We had a great pre-Yom Bethel brunch, which was very highly attended and I think really real for people. I think it was really meaningful for people. So I think that's just what people want. So our job is to kind of be like a party planning host for people to be able to show up and have like an authentic connection with somebody who they might not have otherwise connected
Well,
with.
and you said party planning, but there's so, and we did have, I think there were 70 or 75 people that um, open that brunch that you mentioned. By the way, do you have numbers? Do you know how many new families have joined the synagogue this year?
I mean, it
A
over
lot.
40 in the last
There's been
year.
at least 30.
And since Yom Bethel,
There's
yeah,
Yeah, so there's a lot
it's
of
like buckle up,
so there's
people.
lots and lots so there are lots of people who are joining and there are events, but I also feel like there's sort of more one-on-one. I feel like there's a lot of one-on-one outreach and
Yeah, so we are doing that, and I would say like if anyone who's not on the committee wants to help be involved with that, I mean, everyone who's joining is so cool. It's really great. Everyone has such an amazing story and such fascinating interests, and so we are doing, kind of one-on-one outreach, absolutely, when people join, just to welcome them and try to connect. I'd say the thing that's hard in a way is not knowing what people want. So like we want to make sure there's no guilt. Like if you joined but you don't want to show up to things to start out, that's okay.
but we're
But we want
Jewish.
to make
There's
sure you want to get up in your business. No, we want to make sure that you know that there's all these opportunities. So like when you're ready, and I think it's really important when people do walk in the door that like there is that everybody here knows that they're all part. You don't have to be on the membership committee to like kind of wear a badge of honor to welcome other people. I think that's something that has always been in the fabric of Bethel. Don't know how. Like it's very unique and beautiful that everybody feels a part of the welcoming committee. But yeah, I think our job is to like help make sure that that's a constant um, that's being constantly encouraged throughout the whole community is that sense of warmth and welcoming.
So if you are listening to this and would be interested in being a buddy for somebody who has just joined the synagogue, please reach out to Sandy and Allison. Reach out to them or to Amy. Reach out to the membership committee. I think it is those one-on-one connections. I think one of the things that synagogues always need to be careful of, especially as they grow, but I think it's a case in any community, is you want to create a sense of community within community. There's no way that, and this is part of the purpose of this podcast, there's no way that 400, I think we have like 450 member families. That's over 1,000 people. Even if everybody was all together, at one point, you're not going to have conversations where you can get to know one another and feel known with the entire community. You have to form community within community, and the process of making those connections.
Yeah. And that's something I think that we are definitely working toward. Like with it's not necessarily under the purview of the membership committee, but with the Shabbat dinners that Beth and Sally and a few others, I think, are starting to organize to just get people connected in a small.
Another word about those.
I don't.
Beth Goldstein, I
Beth
know, has been,
Goldstein,
yeah,
yeah.
she has been a lead on this and just trying to, maybe starting with board members, but trying to be intentional about people hosting each other for Shabbat dinners in their own
Yes.
homes. We have a few more of those coming up.
Yes.
Another thing that might be off the record still, but let's
Now it's on the record.
So,
Our launch.
that we've been just starting to talk about is like, how do we, what does it look like to have more Havurah programming where like we are helping to formally connect a Havurah, give it some programming and then like let it rock on its own, like within the synagogue, but helping people who are interested in engaging in that kind of a
And it,
smaller network. And I think one of the things that, again, I'll just say, why not? Let's be productive here. But we would love more feedback on is the extent to which people are looking for an intergenerational smaller community within the community, because that is a very rich part of Bethel. Um, or more like affinity groups where everybody has young kids or everybody has more free time because they're a retirement age or, so that's an interesting thing that I think we would love input on or allow people to self-select and then have
amazing.
options. Yeah.
We're going to finish up in a moment. I would love for you to, instead of asking, I was going to ask them for a joke, but I'm not going to ask them for a joke. I would love your Bethel tips, right? So like, you've come to Bethel through different paths. You've come to Judaism through different paths and sort of, connect with Judaism and the Jewish people in different ways. Whether it's for people who are just newly joining the community or for people who have been part of the community for a long time, but maybe are feeling a little bit disconnected. What are the tips that you have to offer?
I would say because I am like a shy, kind of hesitant person. So I would say to just jump in with something. So whether it's joining a committee, which I think has been wonderful, and I've gotten to meet so many people this way, or to just figuring out what works for you to be involved in. So like we don't really go to services a lot with a toddler, but like we'll just go hang out on the playground on Shabbat. And so like just find what works for you to get connected and connect with other people.
I do think that there's an informal group of parents who I think there's schnapps.
There are.
There is schnapps on the playground for these parents. And then the kids are playing on the playground, and then you come upstairs for kiddush. That's totally, the rabbi says that's totally kosher. Some people come for the prayer, some people come to what is it? The joke?
Keep it schnapps.
Right.
Like way to
Right.
stick to the
Yeah. It still has to be old school.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so cute.
Sandi, what are your tips?
I mean, my first thought was go to Shabbaton. And I think I can't make it this year, and I'm so
Beach
bummed.
Shabbaton.
Beach Shabbaton is this incredible, adorable camping
Dates this year.
experience. December
19th through 21st.
19th through 21st. And I think registration is going to go out very soon. Oh, it's now open?
Yes.
It's now open.
Get a
Yeah,
discount.
a discount.
Got a discount, and I think even an opportunity to sign up early. But okay, go ahead. Why Beach Shabbaton?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key part about Shabbaton is that it, first of all, can be a habit. It's like the Shabbat before Christmas every year. So you can kind of just like plug it in. And what I love about it, which I think kind of piggybacks on what Allison was saying, was that it's a little bit about getting out of your comfort zone, but that's where like the growth happens. So if you want to connect more in Bethel, or if you want to connect more with your own spirituality or whatever it is, like getting out of your comfort zone is a really great way to do that. And I love how much you don't know what's going to happen. Like the messiness of it is kind of the beauty of it. And I think that the Shabbaton is a great example, but it could just be showing up at Kiddush and, being outgoing enough to say like, I've never done this before, but tell me about yourself or something. It's just pushing yourself a little bit to show up, even if you don't need it. You don't, technically want that. I think there's like a lot of beautiful unknowns that come from showing up here. So pushing yourself in a way, whether it's Shabbaton or something else, I think is a really positive way to let Bethel kind of rock your world.
Amazing to let Bethel rock your world. Add that to the list.
There's just a list of really good episode titles.
Absolutely.
But the truth is everyone in this congregation is so interesting. So that's what I feel like it is like if you open up a conversation, Yeah, even at your house, I had like at the Sukkot event for new members, I had like 3 conversations with people, but they were all wildly interesting. And it's like, oh,
On that note, if you think that you are interesting, and maybe I'll turn to Sandy and get some names of people, and you would like to be featured on the Bethel podcast, please reach out to Madeline at programs@betheldurham.org. And I want to say thank you to both of you for coming in and sharing your Bethel stories, and thank you for listening to Bethelians. We hope that you will listen again. Our regular Shabbat services are at 9:30 in the morning, and they include childcare with your so you can come with the little ones or just drink schnapps on the playground. The childcare starts at 10 a.m. and or both. And yeah, thanks for listening.